special place in my heart for what I'm gonna call tactical lever action rifles. I've always loved guns like this. I like taking what I would call kind of classic firearms and turning them into a bit of a modern twist. And in the past, on my personal channel, Keystone Carry, I've done some reviews and talked about other lever action rifle builds that I've done in the past. I've also talked about this in its completely stock form, and this is a Henry X model 4570 that is decked out and coated and all kinds of cool stuff. We'll get into that at the end of the video. The question that I have is whether or not a big bore lever action chambered in 4570 like this Henry X can stack up in a realistic way against something like an AR15. So just the other day on the range, we ran the TREX Arms 50 round carbine drill, their standards drill, with an AR15, and today we're gonna do that with my lever action rifle. Let's just get right into that. So we're gonna come back to 5 yards here. We're not gonna waste any time with this, guys. And just a little bit about this format, it's gonna be more of a one take, but we are gonna cut out the dead space of walking and stuff like that, just to not waste your time. So the first drill here, we've got it marked out at 5 yards. It's gonna be low ready, headshot. So on the beat. .72. Okay, so now I'm just gonna mark down that time. That was a .72. Now, if you guys want to see how to score the 50 round carbine drill, check out our previous video. I'm not going to dive into all of this because I want to keep this thing moving forward. So now the next one is the same drill in the head box, but this time we're going to start high ready. So again, on the beep. Ooh, that was a little slow. That time we got a 1.12. Okay, for that one, guys, we got that 1.12. Now I'm gonna actually top off the magazine tube with 2 rounds. So the next drill is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna engage 1 round in the center target, 2 rounds into the left target, 3 rounds into the right target. That gives me 6. Then I need to grab 4 rounds from my reload here and put 4 rounds into the center target. So let's go down range and do that. And that is at 10 yards. So actually we're just gonna step right here. This is gonna be very strange with a lever action rifle, and my reload, I'm a little scared to see how this turns out, but let's do it. We'll do high ready on this one on the beep. Wow. Time on that one was 25.32. So that time was a 25.32 on that one. So now we're going to be doing a 5 reload 5. Going to stick these back in this little Ranger Point Precision shell holder. And I can already tell you, just learning about this gun, using it this way, it might be better to have this upside down. There's obviously enough retention. The scope gets in the way here pretty significantly. But we're going to put 5 in the gun. And the way this is going to work is at 10 yards here, I'm going to start at a 180 facing this way, turn around, engage 5 rounds on the left target, reload as quickly as I possibly can, and do 5 rounds on that right target. So like all of these drills, I'm going to start hammer down. And on the beep, we're going to turn and get into this drill. All right, that was a 24.54. All right, that was a 24.54. And to be honest, guys, all things considered, I'm really not terribly unhappy with that. I mean, obviously, as you can tell, reloading this thing is sort of a bit of a bear, to say the least. I definitely can tell you that ammo capacity with a 45-70, you're already at a huge disadvantage. But you can sling lead pretty quick. I apologize, guys. I'm just going to switch ammo here for you. But as you can tell, when we are actually stringing the rounds down range, it's pretty quick. You're able with a lever gun to keep your head down on the gun pretty efficiently, I would say. But yeah, it's definitely not an AR-15. But giving you guys a little bit of a framework here, the next drill is going to be starting at 10 yards. We're going to engage the head box on the left target. And then I'm going to run back to 25. And before I do that, because this gun has no safety, you'll see me drop nice and easy, drop the hammer down into its safe position. Then I'm going to run back to 25, engage the head box on the right side there. So let's do that. All right, again, hammer down. I'm starting like that for all these drills. High ready, 2 rounds into the left head box. Surprisingly pretty quick. That was an 11.91. So 11.91 on that drill. That's not terrible. I kind of remember, and we'll play some of the footage from the AR-15 run the other day. I think I got an 11.38 on that drill. So some of these drills are very comparable. Some of them are just very slow compared to an AR-15. So the next one here, we're gonna actually go back to 25 yards and we're gonna engage 2 rounds on each of the targets from the left position. So from that position back at 25, I'm gonna go left, middle, right. And then while I'm moving, I'm gonna start reloading the gun. I've gotta get 6 more rounds in this gun, go to the other side of the range, and then from right to left, engage 2 rounds onto each target. So this is 6 rounds total for this drill. So let's go back to 25. I need to reload the gun. So we had a slight hiccup. I forgot, guys. I need to stuff some ammo into this rifle. So 6 rounds needs to be in the tube here, and then we need to have 6 rounds ready for a reload. All right, back to 25. This thing's like lifting up a lead anchor. We have 2 rounds on each target, then we're sprinting over to the right. On the beat. I felt a horrible miss on that target on the far left. I missed it by probably a foot. So we already know we've got 1 mic on that, but that's all right. Time was 36.42. Okay, so we're taking a brief intermission because I noticed some stuff was happening with this gun. And we'll kind of dive in a little deeper at the end when I talk about whether or not lever guns make sense for actual defensive or high volume use. But here, check this out, Brenton, over here. Just show everybody. The magazine tube, that little dovetail is backing out this way. So we're just gonna give it a smack. I might have to actually fix that one at home. I mean, I can give it a couple more whacks. We're gonna run it. But the other thing that I saw was just one of my screws here. There we go. One of my screws here was actually coming loose on the rail, so my rail was shifting under that violent recoil. It was like poof, and every time I'd push the rifle back out, kind of felt the rail chuck a little bit forward. So we're just gonna tighten that guy up. That's just a little Torx bit. There's one more on the other side, and I think this one's loose too. I'd call it good as new, but I don't know about that magazine tube. But hey, we gotta go down range and mark a time, and then we're gonna get into that last drill, so let's go down range. So that was a 36.42 that we had on that last run. So now we're gonna do the last drill, which is a very straightforward drill if you have a higher capacity firearm, which I do not today. We're gonna leave these rounds out a little bit just so I can actually grab them. But the objective of this drill is there's gonna be essentially from 25 yards to 5 yards, I have to put 12 rounds downrange. And as you guys have already figured out, this gun holds 6 in the tube, 6 in the reload, so I'm gonna need to use every single bullet that I have on me right now. But as soon as the buzzer goes off, I need to start moving and engage while I'm moving 4 rounds onto each of the 3 targets downrange. So let's just get this last round in here. That's 5. Now with an AR15, this is a pretty straightforward drill because your magazine has enough capacity in it that you don't need to do a reload. You're just moving, focusing on your steps, being smooth, kind of floating on your feet. With this one, I'm getting hit with a freight train every single time I squeeze the trigger. And on top of that, I have to reload in this distance. So this is gonna be pretty weird. So we've got a shell in there. I'm like mentally preparing for this. Like I said, guys, the only way I can describe this is like you're getting punched by a freight train every time you press that trigger. So high ready, on the beep, while moving. Let's do it. That worked out exactly as horribly as I thought it was going to. 36.22. Okay, so we've got a total of 2 that could have been in the head, 15 torso, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I already know I've got 1 mic, and I called that. As far as alphas, I've got 2 alphas, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Charlies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 head, 13 torso. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's all in, so no misses on that one. 7, 8 alpha, 6, 7 Charlies. All right, so 2 heads, 16 torso. Looks like there's 1 missing here. 6 Charlie, no deltas, 11 alpha. As I started counting all of the hits and calculating my time, there's a couple things that stood out to me. Right away, the thing that I was actually somewhat proud of is the fact that I had really good marksmanship considering the abusive recoil nature of a 45-70. The times though were what really suffered. And when we did the AR15 run the other day, again, we're gonna put a link down in the description. We'll also put a card above my head so you guys can check that out. But when I did that with an AR15, obviously my times were much, much faster. Naturally, anytime you have to work in action, you are adding time. When you don't have a detachable magazine, you're adding time. The crazy part is I ran this, and I forget the exact time, but it was around 38 seconds with my AR15. First time ever running it, totally cold coming out on the range. This one was 136.25 seconds. So we're talking about 100 seconds longer with the lever action rifle. Now I will say that the marksmanship, like I said, was really decent considering, one, I've never done this with this particular lever gun before. We showed up on the range and this was cold. I don't even know if people dry fire lever guns, honestly, but I didn't do any dry fire or anything. The only rounds that I had downrange were just to confirm 0 on this setup. So I'm very happy with that marksmanship, and I'm very happy with how I can handle this particular rifle. And as you saw, there were some mechanical issues, and honestly, they're probably my fault. I put the rail in stock on this thing, and ever since doing that and then spray painting it, I never actually shot it. So this is the first time with its new wardrobe, we'll call it, that I've actually shot the 45-70. So I'm not surprised that there's something going on with it, you know, some screws that were a little loose and whatnot. So we're not going to worry about that. I'll touch it up with some Loctite and do that kind of stuff. So now the question comes into play, is this actually a viable option? You know, when I look at the ready up drill, essentially from low ready, a 0.72 time is right on par with an AR-15. So as far as getting a round on target, it's pretty much neck and neck with a standard fighting rifle. The problem that you're going to run into is with a 45-70, when you've got these big long cartridges, I mean, they are freaking massive. You only get 5 rounds in the magazine tube on this rifle, and then you get 6 rounds in my mag carrier. If you don't have a mag carrier or some other way to carry ammo other than just loose in your pocket, you're not going to have any fast way to feed ammunition into this gun. So that is naturally a major issue with a manually activated or manually cycled rifle of any kind, honestly, but a lever gun especially, due to the nature of how lever action rifles typically hold their ammunition. Realistically, I would say for a hunting purpose, which is what I do with this gun, and also for maybe some defense if you're in a state where, I don't know, they have stupid gun laws and you can only have manually operated guns with magazine capacity restrictions, which between you and me, why are you listening to commies anyway? But if you are listening to those commies in your state and you don't have an AR-15 with a detachable magazine, maybe this is what you've got, or maybe you've got an old school lever action rifle and you're trying to figure out, can I make this thing viable to defend my life? And I think ultimately the benefit of a 45-70 is just the fact that you remove pieces of whatever you shoot. I mean, when you look at the holes that this thing is putting in, it is ridiculous. And I'm not normally one that says, hey, yeah, big caliber's the way to go. You know, all the 45 ACP people like to say, it won 2 world wars and the bigger bullet's better. And that's not always the case. But I can tell you, I shot 2 different types of ammunition today. The first, and the only reason I switched, I did want to touch on that, is because I actually was running out of my 300 grain ammo. But the 300 grain ammunition here, I think it's from Steinel, is coming out of that barrel at something like 2,200 feet per second. So this is a big chunk of lead, hollow point, coming out very fast. When I started running out of these, I switched to S&B 405 grain soft point ammo. This is coming out much slower, but it's still something like 1,500 or 1,600 feet per second. So I guess what I'm getting at is, if you can prove to yourself that you can have the marksmanship you would need to put rounds into vital areas very quickly, you could probably make the argument that you could get by with a lever action rifle depending on the scenario, especially if we're talking about out in the woods, backpacking, hiking way back in the bushcraft, all that kind of stuff. This rifle could actually be a really good contender. For me personally, these are sort of like range novelty toys and hunting rigs. I think it's interesting to talk about a lever action rifle as a defensive rifle, but at the same time, I recognize its limitations. And so if I had the option, and I always will have the option because I am a free red-blooded American, I'm going to choose an AR-15, or dare I say an AK-47, because it has a detachable magazine. Yes, you don't have the potent caliber But to me, when it comes to something that I might want to defend my life with, truth be told, what I want is crap tons of bullets that can go out really fast, and I can reload those bullets extremely efficiently. So that reload and the ability to feed more ammunition is what is critical for me. So would I recommend it as a defensive rifle? The answer to that is really not really, unless you are, I don't know, crazy. Maybe you're crazy and you like getting into gunfights with 6 rounds of ammo. But at the end of the day, it's 6 rounds of ammo. And I would rather come to a fight, if it's brought to me, with 30, 40, 50 rounds of ammo and the ability to carry 200 rounds of ammo on my body versus just having maximum with this rifle in this setup, 12 rounds on tap. So that's my answer to that question. And I know you guys are gonna wanna know what components I have in this gun. So we're gonna do a really, really fast end-to-end rundown of what I have on this. First thing I wanted to say is way back in the day, I got this off of Henry. They did send this to me and I did do a review over on Keystone Carry. That's my personal channel. They did not ask me to do anything with this video, no money exchanged, nothing like that. They never paid me to begin with. They just sent a rifle and said, hey, we'd like to see if you like it. What do you think? And then I shot it for a couple months and I did a video. This looks a lot different than that video, as you can tell. And then I reached out to my friends over at Ranger Point Precision because I knew I wanted to do an updated tactical lever action rifle video. And I asked them for their rail, their magazine carrier, and also their stock. And on the stock, I have their little plate here, which you could put the extra shells here if you wanted to, but it also has some QD sections as well. And the reason I really liked the stock is because I'm running an LPVO with a standard AR15 mount, which is not ideal for a lever action rifle. The scope is a Viper Gen 1, I believe, PST 1-4. It's a decent scope. I like it a lot. It used to be on my 300 Blackout. Now it lives on this gun. But because of that extra rise with a cantilever mount like that, I wanted to be able to have a stock that I could kind of raise that cheek well up. And with this stock, you can loosen the 2 bolts on the back here. They're Allen head bolts on that side, and you can pivot that stock up or down as you please. It also has a very meaty butt pad on the back, which helps with the massive amount of recoil that a 4570 puts out. Aside from that, internals are all factory. As I said, we've got the Ranger Point Precision, the little saddle here. We've got their M-LOK rail. On the top, we've got the Silencer Co. ASR brake. That is for running our hybrid 46 suppressor, which every time I shoot this gun without the can, I wonder what is wrong with me, because the concussion out of this thing, ignorant is the word that I would like to use to describe this. And then on the side here, we've got a Streamlight HLX. It's got a flatline Fiberco sling, and then we did do a rattle can job. So no, this is not Cerakote. This was done with just 3 or 4 colors of Rust-Oleum. Nothing special at all. Honestly, it was just Rust-Oleum and a little bit of frog tape. If you guys want to see that entire process of how we painted this rifle and a couple of other rifles in our arsenal, we'll also put a card to the spray paint video up at the top. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know if you would ever consider running a tactical lever action rifle. And also, if there's anything that you would change with this particular rifle, let me know down below too, because I'm not married to one way or another, and I won't be offended if you guys say this is a stupid gun and you think it's stupid that I did this video. I just think that you're jealous at the end of the day. Honestly, guys, I think you should get over it. But if you have some constructive criticism or a question that you would like to ask, leave that down below in the comment section. Also, big shout out to our friends over at TREX Arms. We partnered up with TREX Arms and we actually manufacture the redacted D-Zone target, and they released this recently for their standards drills that are on their website. So if you want to show some support to them, if you liked this video and you wanted to show some support to me and our company, you could purchase these on their website, and you can also buy our target bases on their website. And I forgot to actually announce what my hit factor was for this drill. So we are gonna close this out, guys, with, drum roll please. Bretton's gonna add that at the end, just trust me. There's gonna be a drum roll right here. Drum roll is a 1.28 hit factor. Hey Brenton, what do you think about me giving a prize to the first 3 people that post a video beating my hit factor with a lever gun?
I think that'll be too easy.
All right, so the first person, what do you think? Should we give a prize?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. Here's what we're gonna do. Total freestyle, this was unplanned. All right, You have to use a lever action rifle. All right, guys, lever action rifle. I want to see a YouTube video out. So it has to be on YouTube. I want to see start to finish. We're pushing your boundaries. I don't care if it's an iPhone, I don't care what it is, but you have to email it to us, okay? I need a link to a YouTube video where you run a drill, the 50-round carbine drill, the TREX Arms standard. We will give you all the information in the description below. You've got to run this, beat my hit factor. I want to see everything on video, and I will send you an epic prize. And I'm going to do that for one person, okay? One person. So I want any one of you that has a lever action rifle, I don't care how it's set up, buy a set of these targets, the redacted D zone, or if you have USPSA targets, you can use those as well. Post your run, make sure you email us. The email is info@tatargets.com, and then I would make the subject lever action entry. Do it, guys, and I will give something epic. I promise it will be freaking epic. Do it. Guys, that's it for this video. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, like, comment, and I will announce if one of you takes me up on that lever action rifle. The first person to get it into me and beat my hit factor wins something pretty epic. So guys, that's it for this one. We'll catch you in the next video. So I think the biggest problem with people and why they won't run in 4570, the first reason is they're too poor, but I can't really hold that against them, but it kind of reminds me of the people at the gun clubs that just pick up all the brass. You know what I mean? You go to a gun club and there's always that one old dude who he just picks up everything. Like I'm talking everything. Like it could be 48-year-old brass. It's like, that's still good yet. I'm just gonna pick that up and use. I might use it someday. At the end of the day, like I might use it. And so I think the other thing is people are scared of wasting the brass because of the current crisis. Yeah. So it's a combination of a lot of different factors, I think, but mostly I think that people just aren't blessed enough with the understanding to truly manifest the ability to acquire as much 4570 as I have. So I don't personally care about dropping the brass on the ground because I can just go buy more. And at the end of the day, it's a write-off, so it's a company, right? Yeah, it's, you know what I mean? I'm, again, blessed, you know.